Dude, Brad.
What's up, Bert?
Dude, you are not going to believe this. You know that beach trip I went to with the Amazons?
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, right before I left, I found this stone just sitting on the beach, and I'm like, this is a really cool stone that I could display in my house. And then again, I got all depressed because you blew up my house because of you inability to solve a riddle.
Stop it.
So I just like, man, I wish I had a new house to display this stone. And dude, you are not going to believe what I came home to.
What?
I came home to this beautiful house, and dude, I took a picture at the front of it, and dude, you're gonna love it. Here, let
You
me
got a
get
picture? Yeah. Yeah, let me see it.
boom,
Oh, dude, that looks terrific, man.
dude.
I
I
mean,
know. I could not be more excited. Like, look at that red door. It kind of reminds me of the door to the Insidious house,
I
or
like the
like to
door.
that
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, dude. That's a sweet door, man. It's a little creepy, but overall it looks like a nice house.
Oh, dude, man. Like, I'm telling you, nothing can go wrong with this house. So, without further ado, do you want to go ahead and get our Wonder Woman 1984 review in?
Let's do it, pal.
All right, let's do it.
What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Reel Hunting, where we hunt for the good reels so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. The Burt Man is right over there, and today we are knocking out our Wonder Woman 1984 review. Again, this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you have not seen it, turn this off, go check it out, and then come back here. Very important.
Yes.
We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah, so again, like, see that right there? Again, spoiler. So you have been warned.
Right, you are. So this, we're going to get into it. If you guys want to see our thoughts on the first Wonder Woman movie, we'll put a link to that review up right over here so you can check that out. And if you're into superhero movies and action, be sure to check us out March the 3rd, starting every week on Jason Nike's channel. We're going to be starting Real Men and Real Movies weekly watch party commentaries for movies in these genres, every genre, but we're going to really focus in on the action stuff. It's going to be great. And again, this movie, it just came out. It's in theaters, but you can also stream it on HBO Max. Now, Brettman, do you want to fill us in a little bit about this flick?
Oh, dude, you know I want to. So, Wonder Woman 1984 came out in 2020, which is directed by Patty Jenkins, and it stars Gal Gadot returning as Wonder Woman, aka Diana Prince, and we also have Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, and Pedro Pascal, which, if a lot of you don't know, is Mendo from Mandalorian.
Old freaking Grogu's dad. Yes, he is. Okay, so this movie is essentially about it follows the storyline of Wonder Woman from the previous movie back in World War I, but now we're in 1984. Things have moved on. Chris Pine's been gone, and she's just living life at the Smithsonian until she gets a buddy that starts working there. Her pal Kristen Wiig comes in, and then they find the stone that grants wishes, and all kinds of crazy stuff happens from there. The stone turns into a dude, and yeah, whatever. We'll get into it. What do you think, man? What do you like about this thing?
All right, let's go with some of the positives. Which anything Wonder Woman, your first positive has to be Gal Gadot's portrayal as Wonder Woman. I didn't feel like she lost the beat. I thought her acting was very, very strong, and again, her look, man, like, she's beautiful, and she just displays power like as Wonder Woman would. Like, I feel like she did a really, really good job with that. And another positive, I go with Chris Pine, returning as Steve, and he did a really good job of acting. And I loved the role he was given with his character. Interacting with the '80s and the technologies and all that, especially that one jet scene when he goes, huh, "The way I fly, no one can find me." And then Diana's like, yeah, about that. This I forgot to tell you about radar. I'm like, well, radar, like, this is what the world, like. Oh, it's just, that is great, and that actually leads into my next positive of Diana and Steve, their chemistry. To me, it did not lose a beat. I thought it continued right where the first movie left off, and they were great with Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. Their chemistry awesome. And again, with the roles reverse, that Diana is teaching Steve about the 80s versus like Steve teaching Diana the ways of the world. So I thought that was just like a little good, like little like flip of roles. And of course, my last positive, and I freaked out when I saw this, it was Wonder Woman's The Invisible Jet, like from the cartoon from the Justice League. Oh, dude, I freaked out. I'm like, dude, that's the invisible jet. This is awesome. But yeah, those are my positives mainly. Like, I was really happy with the positives from this movie.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, my I mean, obviously, Gal Gadot was fantastic once again as Wonder Woman. Fantastic, knocks the roll out of the park. I liked what they did something a little bit interesting with her character in this one, and that's where at some point she wishes for Chris Pine to come back with the stone. And when she does that, she starts losing her powers a little bit, and I really like that storyline of her kind of becoming weaker. Only because now at the end it didn't really pay off because they just came back and everything was renounced. And we'll get into that. But I did like it because it's like, okay, you just defeated the god of war in the last movie, Ares. And it's like, okay, how can you up the? I mean, I didn't like the villain, but he was a powerful villain. So how do you up that? How do you create a new challenge for Diana? You can't really make a more powerful villain, can you? No, not really. But what you can do is you can make Wonder Woman weaker, and that will add a little vulnerability to her character. So I kind of like that. It made for some interesting sequences when she's getting shot and getting all beat up, and I liked it. It was kind of a nice part of the story, and something a little bit different and unique and fresh. So I kind of like that. However, my biggest positive for this freaking movie is Pedro Pascal, dude. I freaking loved his character as Maxwell Lord. I loved his character as Maxwell Lord. I thought the villain to me in this movie was a big step up from the first one because they were fleshed out, and you had a full storyline for them. They didn't just pop up in the last 5 minutes. And I know they kind of gave backstory to Ares in the last one, but he still was weak. I like that. You see his descent into madness. Okay, he starts off, he's a really confident TV dude, and then like he just gets crazier and crazier throughout the movie. Once he starts granting wishes, his nose is bleeding, his ears bleeding, his eyes getting all red. I like that, and his performance was great. It was intriguing. I like the way he starts out caring for his son, and then he just gets overtaken by all this mischief and whatnot from
the stone, because again, the stone it just grants the power of like making wishes, and not only does like it grant wishes, but it takes away like your most prized possession from you as well.
Yeah, which and then he becomes the stone essentially, and he just makes him weaker and weaker until the very end. And yeah, I loved all that. I thought it was great. And then my other biggest positive is the score from Hans Zimmer in this thing. It was fantastic. He came in and did the full score for this. The theme for Pedro Pascal's character was awesome. It was kind of fun almost, but it was also like he had his own theme. It was a character. His song was a character in of itself within the movie here. The cheetah theme I thought was fantastic when she's fighting Wonder Woman, and it just kind of plays a little. It's almost like a rendition of Wonder Woman's theme, but darker. And then he put in a new Wonder Woman theme in this during the chase with the tanks and all that. And it's like, yeah, it's the same song, but it's changed a little bit, a different rendition, and I like that. I was a little bit disappointed they didn't put her actual song in here at any point, but I loved the new stuff, and the overall score for this movie was phenomenal. He did a phenomenal job. But that's it for me.
All right, so you want to go ahead and go to the mix aspect?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and this is where this mixes like kind of determines like my movie rating. My first mix is the villains. Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Maxwell Lord, like what Pedro Pascal portrayed to us, because for any good villain, like their motivation is always like we can like, you know what? I can agree with their motivation. Kind of like with Thanos and the finger snap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like say, like I can agree on that. And I like it too. Like again, for his motivation, he was doing it for his son, and we learned towards the end of the movie that he was actually doing it for himself too, because of his bad childhood experience. his mom getting beat up and him went into bed and his dad getting mad, like all that. And I thought that was okay. It kind of weird they threw that like at the very like last bit at the end of the movie. I wish they would just focus on the son more. But other
Mhm.
than that, I thought Maxwell Lord was a lot better villain than Ares, in which again that's still kind of a little bit of a sore spot because I believe that Ares should be a way better bad guy than Maxwell Lord.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
and let me go with let's talk about the other villain, Barbara, aka Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig. I thought Kristen Wiig, she was my big worry. Going into this movie, like from a cast perspective, but I thought she did a really, really good job portraying her character as kind of like the dorky girl, like everything bad happens to her, and then when she wished to be exactly like Diana, and she gets all of that, but the thing that she loses when she wishes for it is just like just her personality, like her being a good to people. She's being good to like to that homeless guy, and now she's just telling him to mind his own business. So I was just okay, and she was a good side villain. Like I was kind of want her to be like a bigger villain because I grew up watching the Justice League cartoon, and Wonder Woman and Cheetah always fought each other. So I thought she was going to be the big bad guy, but just her being like a side villain, I was just okay with, a little disappointed. And the lastly, I thought her look was okay. Like I know they had to do her like all CGI like, but I just thought her look was okay.
right on.
Yeah,
I
and oh, sorry, were you gonna say something?
was gonna say, was there anything you didn't like about Max? Uh,
Yeah,
Pedro Pascal?
I just again, I didn't feel like he was a very strong villain. Like, yeah, he had power to make wishes and all that, but like she could easily like Wonder Woman. I could easily see Wonder Woman just easily defeat him. Like, so I
Right.
just wasn't believing like that whole third act. I feel like she could just like kicked his ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you there.
But yeah, the last mixed aspect I do have though, and this was like my most concerning thing about the whole movie was Steve's comeback. I just like with him like being like possessing another person. I, okay, I would rather just have him come back. Just like Steve being himself versus like him being within somebody else's body. Just bring him back, and also the music. I know that was a positive for you. I love Hans Zimmer. I thought he did a good job with this movie. I just felt like he could have been better. And plus, where the hell did the badass theme go? Because to me, I love that theme, and they should have brought it back for this film as well.
The Wonder Woman theme?
Yeah, like that identifies with Wonder Woman. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
want
yeah.
them to bring that back. Like I appreciate him trying to be different with it, but if something worked for the first movie, bring it back for the second one.
Right, you are. Well, that's what they did with Steve. So getting on to kind of my mixed aspects. Steve, I agree. It was cool to see him back. I did not like the way they brought him back with him taking over the possession, just like you. I thought that was weird. And he was really there when he first showed up. He was literally, I think he was a little over comedic,
Mhm.
sort of. I mean, I don't know. He just didn't feel the same as he did in the first one. He was a little off. And the chemistry wasn't quite there until you get to the jet scene. At that point, whenever they fly off together, I thought that's when the movie really got pretty good for me. Is once the jet scene happened, their chemistry kind of picked up at that point. You saw shades of what they had in the first movie, and things kind of got back to normal a little bit. But there for a little bit, I was like, I don't even know. But at the end of the day, I liked seeing Chris Pine back in this. But at the end of the day, it was needed for Wonder Woman's arc in the movie, yes. But he just felt like a side character. He didn't really feel needed for the overall story. I don't know. I just wish he was used a little bit better in this. But I don't know. He
Yeah,
was
I actually
important.
agree with. I actually agree with you on that, and I didn't think about it till now. Like his story was perfectly written in Wonder Woman, like from beginning to end, like till he like sacrificed himself with that plane crash. I felt like with this movie, they kind of ruined that very good ending they set up for Wonder Woman. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I thought so too. I would have rather just left him in the as fun as he is and as good as these two are together. I didn't feel the need to bring him back. I mean, yeah, I get it's important for her arc in this movie, but maybe they could have used a different story point or something like that. I don't know. I just didn't feel like he was needed. And same thing goes. So we'll get in Kristen Wiig, her character. I really liked it. I thought she did a great job, but I didn't think she was needed at all. In the movie. I mean, she was interesting. I liked the cheetah fight at the end. I thought that was really well done and really interesting, and it was a good fight for Wonder Woman since she's not really going to be fighting Max, um, and and whatnot. But at the same time, you go back and look, you think about this movie, and you take her out of the movie, and it doesn't really change that much. I mean, she was done well and she was set up well, but she's a big reason why this thing is 2 hours and 30 minutes long, is because they're setting her up in the beginning. And then she kind of disappears for a while Max is doing his thing. And then she kind of comes back as Cheetah there at the end. And I just feel like her character wasn't really needed. And then her transition, I wasn't much of a fan of. She beats up the weird attacker dude in the streets. And I guess we're supposed to feel bad for that guy, but he was an asshole. And honestly, I mean, I was cheering for her at this point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It was just kind of weird. I loved her performance and I loved Cheetah being in this, but at the same time, I just wish she was written into the story a little bit better. And as far as the action goes, I liked the overall the scenes overall. I liked them. I thought they took a step back from the slow motion a little bit from the first movie, which was nice to see. Some of the action scenes were a little bit weird and kind of hokey, though. That like with the way Wonder Woman's kind of just skating around. I mean, I know that's kind of her character, and she's really powerful and whatnot, but it kind of just looked weird. It didn't seem as grounded to me as the first one did. But overall, I enjoyed the action for what it was, and the cheetah scene at the end I thought was choreographed pretty well. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that actually kind of leads right into my first negative. So you want to go ahead and go to the first negative?
Let's hit it, Roger.
All right, let's go to the negatives. As you were saying, like just her fighting style was weird. That slow motions came back. From the first one, there were way too many slow motion scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with this one, it didn't have quite as much slow motion scenes, but again, just like the first one, I didn't feel like slow motion is needed. So it's not as bad, but like where it really affected me was the desert chase and just when she regains her powers and she did that streak jump into the sky. Felt like all that like just being slow mo. Just really not necessary. I feel like they could just play that at a normal pace. Um, yeah, and the action took forever to get to. Like we have that like mall action scene at the beginning of the movie. If then what 20 or 30 minutes later we get to the desert chase scene. Like to me, for like especially for a sequel where you're supposed to do like double everything that the original did, it just took forever to get to the action. But once it did, it started to become fun for me.
I actually
And
think it took a lot longer to get to that desert. The plot really didn't take over until I checked it when it happened, whenever the plot was really picking up, and it was like an hour and 10 minutes into this thing. But I'm
see,
sorry.
yeah, see, that's too long, very too long, and that actually leads to my other negative. This is just another long movie that they could have easily made it shorter. I would have been fine with 2 hours, but 2.5 hours, where your first hour is just like storytelling and story building. Like to me, like storytelling and building should take about, I would say, 15 to 30 minutes, 30 minutes, just depending on the movie. But yeah, this one just another long movie.
Okay, so like I said earlier, going into my negatives, I liked Pedro Pascal a lot. I thought his performance was great. The villain itself, again, while I think it's better than Ares from the first one, I didn't like their plot in this very much. Now, I thought the stone was cool and the grant and wishes and all that stuff was cool, but it gets really convoluted and messy, I think. and it's full of plot holes. Enough, so many plot holes I hadn't even began to list them all out. But my biggest problem with it is just, you make a wish and things don't go your way, shit hits the fan, and you can just renounce it. Just say, okay, I've renounced my wish and it's gone. Like, that's a little convenient. There's no consequence in this movie because of that.
Yeah, like
and
taking the easy way out.
Yeah. So like, and it's weird because you have to touch the stone, and then he he does the whole TV thing at the end where it's just, it's touching everybody. And I know they kind of explained it earlier, but it still doesn't really make sense how it's not a physical. I just don't know. The rules were jumbled for me. And then Max's motivations towards the end was, I don't know. He kind of lost me a little bit with his motivations. And again, maybe that's the stone kind of taking over, but I don't know. To me, it got kind of convoluted. But the biggest thing.
Wouldn't you say that the rules were more as jumbled than Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare franchise?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're all over the place. And I like, I just didn't like, because of that, because of how easy it was to renounce your wishes and just like they never happened. There's no consequences for this movie, I don't think. This movie ends exactly where it began. I mean, nothing happened, nothing changed. There was nothing. I mean, maybe Wonder Woman and some other people once learned some life lessons, but there were no consequences for the movie at all. I mean, it just began. Shit hits the fan for a little bit. Everybody renounces their shit, and then it's right back to normal. There's a redemption for Max, which was kind of nice to see, but he didn't face any consequences for his actions. Nobody did. It just kind of went back. Steve showed up. He went away like he was never there. It was a 2.5 hour movie where literally nothing happened. Because it's all renounced, right? And it's it's really convenient, and just, I don't know. I had a problem with that. And I like the tone of the movie. I thought was a little too comedic at times, especially in the beginning, the heist thing. It was played for laughs a lot, where you're holding a kid over a ledge, and the next minute, dude spinning around through some kind of display. And like, I don't know. I just didn't like the over comedic tone that this thing had at times. And the whole thing, the 20-minute scene with Steve trying on outfits and stuff, it was kind of nice, but it just went on too long and too comedic, man. Whereas the first one was very serious and kind of grounded at times. Like, this one just didn't have that feel to it. I just didn't feel, it didn't have the same vibes as the original, but I do like how they did different stuff. So I'll give them that. And then again, the plot took an hour and 10 minutes to really get rolling. A lot of setup in this, and I feel like a lot of it wasn't really needed. But that's, I mean, and while the setup was going on, it bounced around a lot, man. It's showing Wonder Woman a little bit. It's showing Max around a little bit. It's showing Cheetah around a little bit, Barbara, and it just keeps going back and forth. And then Barbara disappears, and her and Max are together, and then that just kind of goes away. And I don't know. It was really jumbled at the beginning. So yeah, that's it for me, man.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, it did jumbled around a lot, and I like your big negative that nothing really happened, no consequences. And I feel like with consequences, we could have be tied more into Wonder Woman and feel bad for her. But since nothing really bad happened, you're like, well, okay, that was a waste of time.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Just kind of felt like a waste of time to me. I mean, I had a good time with the movie, but I mean, the plot felt like just a waste of time, and the story that just, I mean, it was all, everything just, yeah, it's like the freaking Thanos thing. It's just, it just goes away,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what this plot, yeah, it happened that way.
Yeah, so you want to go ahead and score this bad boy?
Let's score it out, man.
Bad girl.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to give this a 3.5. I still had a really good time with it, but I just don't think it matched the level that the first one set. I thought the first one is just such a strong movie, and I appreciate them trying, but I just felt like with sequels, they have to do twice as more than what the original did. I don't think they did that at all, or not as good. But again, still had a great time with it. I enjoyed Wonder Woman and Steve and their chemistry, and I enjoyed the villains just a tad bit more. And again, just still had a good time with this movie.
I did as well, man. I'm going to give it a 3.25. I had it kind of in that ballpark, 3.25, 3.5, 3, somewhere in there. 3.25 is right in the middle. And that's good. I like it. Which that will bring us in. That'll get us a really high average Joe, won't it?
Yes, I believe so. The math will get us there. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just make this a good old average Joe's gymnasium, where It's just like a take it or leave it kind of scenario. Like you're either gonna really like it or you're really not gonna like it. It's just totally up to you. So we would just hold off where you can get easy access to this movie.
Right, you are. Or if you're really bored, go watch it because
Yeah,
there's nothing else to
exactly.
watch. But yeah. Overall, it's a good time. I like it. Brett, take us home.
All right, let's go home, especially to my new beautiful house. Let's put that up on the screen. So, what did you all think about Wonder Woman 1984? Did you enjoy this movie? Did you think it was better than the first one? Or you kind of like us that it was good, but it just wasn't as good as the first one? Let us know in that comment section down below, and let's just get that discussion rolling.
Right, you are. And if you want to help us find the good reels, you can do so by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitter, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Those links are in the description.
Absolutely. And be sure to like our video, share and subscribe to our channel, which those really help us build our channel so we can continue giving you more great content. And of course, ring that bell, ding, 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 so you know when the next video is up and rolling, especially when we're getting close to releasing our Die Hard 5 review, which, yeah, you can take that as you want.
That's right. And we will see you guys soon.
Take care, guys.